Okay everybody, Tectalar here again with the 11th episode of the Heroes Appendix video series. Its purpose is to help newer and veteran players alike to fully understand the ins and outs of all the characters in Hero Wars Mobile. In today's video, we are reviewing the second place winner of the most recent vote amongst my patrons, and probably one of the heroes who is seldom built to his full potential because people tend to only want him for a few situations. He has one of the most unique basic attack functionalities in the game, in that its damage is based on his magic attack stat and not his physical attack, and even though he's an intelligence-based hero, all damage that he deals is physical and checks against the opponent's armor stat. Cornelius is a hero who isn't often built to his full potential, but for the people who do build him fully, they never regret doing so. In today's video, we're going to be discussing his skills, how they visually appear, and their uses both practically and strategically, when to use Cornelius, when to not use him, his roles in the team, artifact priority order, skin priority order, and glyph stat priority order. First up is Cornelius's activatable skill, Heavy Wisdom, which is commonly referred to as his ultimate because this is the ability he can use once his yellow energy gauge is filled during battle. Cornelius grows larger in size, raising his staff, and through telekinetics, commands 3 magical rock fragments to assemble above his head into a pointed rock, and he points his staff at his target, and the huge magic stone floats through the air to the enemy that has the highest intelligence stat. The damage ratio for this skill is extremely low at 10% magic attack. However, this is the damage for every 100 points of intelligence that the enemy target has. The strength of your opponent can act as a multiplier for this skill. This is the sole reason most people don't often feel they need to level Cornelius much to get him strong, because he also scales based off of the opponents being stronger. People don't realize though his magic attack is a significantly higher multiplier for this skill than the opponent's intelligence stat. So the more you build Cornelius, the significantly more powerful this skill can become. An example is a Cornelius against an equivalently invested Krista, which isn't a commonly seen situation because people frequently use Krista to ward off low-level Corneliuses. His Heavy Wisdom skill, however, can deal enough damage, and once her ice block mitigates the damage, she's still going to suffer more than half of her health in damage. If that skill lands a critical hit, even through her 82% mitigation, she's going to die in a single hit. Or, if Cornelius receives Nebula's damage buff, he can deal more than Krista's max health even after her ice block reduction, so effectively again killing her in one hit. Cornelius's second skill is called Rune of Suppression. A broken image of his staff will appear above Cornelius's head and raise up into an image of the magic attack glyph, which has a spiral effect going on around it, and it will disappear and reappear above the head of the unit with the highest magic attack on the enemy team, effectively reducing their magic attack stat for the duration. This skill has a 40% magic attack ratio, which is high considering the toll it takes on the enemy mage who is unfortunate enough to be affected. It can reduce their magic attack up to 37,449 when it's maxed out. Magic attack boosts from artifact weapons as well as Nebula can greatly increase this effect. A note is that with enough bonuses, or if you're significantly stronger than your opponent, this skill can reduce the enemy's magic attack stat to 0, effectively making their spells do almost no damage. This skill can be used once every 12 seconds and lasts for 12 seconds, so as long as Cornelius isn't under any crowd control effects, at the end of the 12 seconds, he will recast it with no downtime. Cornelius's third skill is called Protective Dome. Protective Dome creates a barrier around the team that raises their magic defense for 6 seconds. Cornelius will lift up his staff and slam it to the ground. And once he does, a transparent dome will expand from the point of impact on the ground to encompass the whole screen before vanishing and leaving a purple shield icon with a staff logo hovering over Cornelius's affected teammates. This skill has a 25% magic attack ratio, plus 4100, which means it can offer up to 21,863 magic defense to the whole team, which is roughly equivalent of a 5-star artifact weapon. This skill is especially effective against teams with lower magic penetration who will end up dealing negligible damage, or a team of heroes who are intelligence-based because they naturally have higher magic defense. So not even heroes like Kai, Lars, or Peppy can penetrate it. Couple this with the fact that his artifact weapon is also magic defense, and you end up with a nearly impassive wall for magic damage dealing opponents. This skill can be used once every 15 seconds. Cornelius's fourth skill, which is his passive, is called Memory Loss, which will randomly choose an enemy unit at the start of battle and curse them, reducing their first skill level by 90 until it is dispelled or Cornelius or the target dies. The only downside to this skill is that it is randomly chosen, so you only have a 20% chance at any given time to have the hero you want selected by this effect. This skill is represented by a hot pink square above the affected target's head with a large arrow pointing downward. A note is the skill can have a variety of battle influences since it reduces the skill level of the ability. It is either going to reduce damage output, healing effectiveness, defense bonuses, and in some instances, even the chance to hit. So, for example, if this skill lands on Lars, it will make Lars' tornado unable to drag your heroes across the map. If it lands on Orion, it will make him deal significantly less damage. If it lands on Ziri, she will get a much smaller multiplier to her defenses. For Rufus, his shield will block significantly less magic damage, and for Maya, she will heal for significantly less with her flower. And this goes on for every hero. Another note is that this skill is only cast at the beginning of battle, so if it's removed over the course of the battle, it will not be reapplied. Now we'll take a deeper look and see when you should be using Cornelius. The first time is against any team with 2 or more intelligence-based units. Second is if your opponent's main damage dealer is intelligence-based. And lastly, if his ultimate's suppression has a high chance of landing on an impactful target, or even if you just need a filler unit and can ultimately benefit from this effect. Now we'll take a look and see when you should be avoiding Cornelius in your team. First up is if your opponent has no intelligence-based units. Since Cornelius's ultimate skill deals damage based specifically on the intelligence stat of the enemy, you definitely want to make sure that they have a lot of it. The second time is if your opponent has 3 or more armor or dodge artifact buffs from their weapon. This one isn't set in stone unless you know they're 6-star on their weapon buffs. The reason is because since Cornelius's ultimate deals physical damage, it checks against armor and it is able to be dodged. So he could effectively either miss or do very low damage with his skill if those buffs are active. And the last time to consider avoiding Cornelius is against a heavy physical damage team where Cornelius will be in harm's way. Also, you have to remember 3 of his skills will basically be invalidated if there are no intelligence users and it's a bunch of physical heavy hitters, because 2 of his skills rely specifically around magic attack and negating that type of damage. Now we'll briefly discuss his role in the team since it's pretty straightforward. Cornelius's main role is support, through buffing his allies and debuffing the enemies, and of course the skill he's most famous for is his ultimate, where he can one-shot almost any mage hero in the game. While his ultimate is somewhat known as his signature skill, the other skills can oftentimes be far more impactful to the outcome of the battle. Learning about mitigation and how it works, which skills will be impacted in what way by his passive, and how much magic attack you'll suppress will really help you understand the best times to use Cornelius in your lineup. Next we'll be discussing artifact priority, which means which artifact is the most important to level up first. First up is the artifact book, which will grant 53,394 health and 10,680 magic attack. This will ensure he's able to take more hits as well as gain a boost to his magic attack. The amount of magic attack from this is greater than his magic attack skins and just shy of what his ring gives, but it also gives a ton of health, which is key for a support unit. The second up in priority is his artifact weapon, Archivist's Staff, which grants 32,040 magic defense. The closer to exceeding your opponent's magic penetration you get this buff, the far greater you'll come to appreciate this effect. And then lastly is his ring, which grants 11,970 magic attack, 3,990 magic defense, and 3,990 physical attack, which is about 17% of his total magic attack, and offers a great deal of utility to his skills. His ring, although lowest in importance, is still fairly high in importance compared to some other support units. In this segment we'll be discussing his skins, which are relatively easy to obtain as far as the priority is concerned, which is good. The top priority skin is his Stellar skin, which offers 106,645 health. Being a primarily support unit, the biggest concern for him is keeping him alive for the duration of the fight. Increasing his health first to an acceptable level should be your primary goal. The second skin is his Angel skin, which offers 10,650 magic attack, and is up next because this is directly tied to both his damage output and his support mechanics. The third in priority is his Masquerade skin, which offers him 10,650 magic defense, and helps him be one of the highest magic defense units in the game, and will really help him excel at the job of surviving against mage teams. And the fourth in priority is his Default skin, which offers him 1,365 physical attack, 1,365 magic defense, and 4,095 magic attack, which contributes to his critical hit resistance and minor additional damage and support modifications. In our final segment, we will now be discussing glyph stat priority. So what that means is, of all the stats your hero can get, which ones are the most important for you to upgrade first to yield the best results. The first glyph to choose is Magic Attack, which grants 3,360 magic attack, and is the biggest contributor to his damage and support mechanics. Since you're already focusing Health Skin and Book for artifacts, you can get away with pushing the Health glyph lower in priority. The second glyph up is his Magic Defense, which grants 3,360 magic defense, and contributes to the massive amount of magic defense he gains, which will help him excel in his role and survive longer against magic users. The third glyph to choose is his Intelligence glyph, totaling 1,680 magic attack, 560 magic defense, and 560 physical attack, which gives additional damage and support skill gains as well as critical hit resistance. The fourth glyph up is his Health, which grants him 30,800 health to help supplement his survivability, but it shouldn't be absolutely necessary at this point. And fifth in priority is the Armor glyph, totaling 3,360 armor, since given he doesn't mitigate or receive much physical damage, it's in your best interest to push this to the end, and could even be skipped over for some other heroes' lower priority glyphs. Okay everybody, hopefully you found this video informative. If you do, please like, follow, and subscribe to my YouTube channel called Server 2 Productions. Another thing to consider is recommending my content to your friends as well if you know they yearn for a knowledge of the game. Since these videos are private, word of mouth is how they will get spread. Also, for a large and active Hero Wars mobile community, join my Facebook group called Hero Wars Mobile Community The GOAT. The link will be in the video's description. Thanks for watching.